What's up, brewskis? My name is Marco Dupa. With me, as always, the great and powerful Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Yeah, boy.
Tonight's brew is from Tactical. No, it's Tactical Brewing Company, and it's the You're Gonna Regret That. It's a sour ale made with a bunch of stuff that Adam's going to tell you about after the break. What's on tap for tonight? We went and saw Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and we have opinions, thoughts, and maybe concerns.
Maybe.
And we're going to get into all of that. Ladies and gentlemen, be ready. Spoiler. This is a spoiler-full mini one reel in.
Yeah. We will include timestamps, so, you can jump ahead if you haven't seen it yet and come back to us.
Yes. And also, another episode of Trailer Trash. This time, the highly anticipated. Man, they couldn't wait to put this one out. Except for they waited 13, 14. How long has it been? Since 2008, right?
Excuse me. It's been a while.
Avatar 2. Well, it's actually just called Avatar Waterworld. No, Way of the Water.
I think
water
so.
People.
Yeah, water stuff.
Water guys.
James Cameron cannot stay away from water.
He really can't. So we're going to get into that. So let's stop beating around the bush. Let's just get right into this motherfucker. Get this out of the way. Get ready.
Prepare yourself.
Because what we're about to do is record an episode of the One Beer In podcast.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Unison.
Lost to be found by someone to save you when you're down. Yes, I'm bored when it's bright out. So bored when it's bright out.
We're opposites.
5 a.m. takes me to a place where I fit in. Yes,
I forgot it's a sour.
Yeah, sorry. It's a sour IPA, so.
Whew.
Well, this is the One Beer In podcast, the podcast where two brews crack open a brew and see where that one brew takes us. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for sharing, subscribing, liking, yada, yada, yada. Adam, tell the people what we are drinking tonight.
Well, we have from Tactical Brewing, You're Going to Regret That. It's a pink lemonade sour IPA with strawberry, lemon, dragon fruit, lemon basil, and Pink Boots Society hop blend by Yakima Chief Hops. The hops used in this beer benefit Pink Boots Society. The Pink Boots Society assists, inspires, and encourages women who are fermented alcoholic beverage professionals through education.
Yeah, we've had some stuff from people who have collaborated with Pink Boots Society before, and it's pretty cool. So, more power to them.
For sure. And it's a 6% ABV.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Pink Lemonade Sour IPA. All right. Let's get rocking and rolling.
Okay.
Remember, spoilers.
Spoilerverse of Madness.
The Spoilerverse of Madness. I just keep wanting to call it the Multitude of Madness.
The Multitudes of Madness.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange and his multitudes of madness.
So many madnesses. Mad Nye.
So, Doctor Strange. This is the sequel to the OG Doctor Strange movie.
Correct.
What is the third Phase 4 movie?
Spider-Man.
Well, Eternals is a Phase 4 movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Man, often forgotten.
Yeah.
Eternals. I still haven't seen that.
Yeah, me neither. We actually were just talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's the rare MCU movie we just haven't caught.
Yeah.
I mean, even now that it's streaming on Disney Plus,
yeah,
I just haven't really found the time for it.
Every day I go on Disney Plus because I've been rewatching Daredevil, and I tell myself, I'll watch.
Today will be the day.
Today is going to be the day. And it just never
Not
is.
today.
There's just nothing. I don't know. It's just not. It's not screaming my name. It's not
Yeah.
calling me.
It's not a whole lot compelling you to watch it.
No, I'm just not really interested in what gods are getting up to. You know,
Sure.
and their bullshit reasons for why they didn't get involved with all of the earlier happenings.
Sure,
you know,
yeah.
because that's the problem with introducing characters like that. You have to answer those questions.
Yeah.
And and the way that they answer them. I could be completely wrong about this.
Well, that's what I was going to say, too, is like maybe we shouldn't talk about that too much because we haven't seen it.
No, I'd rather be wrong.
Okay.
I'll just talk out of my ass.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time.
It just seems like their excuse is that they were just like, we want the humans to be able to
Decide
deal
on
with
their
it.
own.
And if I am right about that, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be angry. But it always seems like that's always the.
Yeah, that's the cop
Well,
out.
how come you guys didn't show up? Well, we didn't want to interfere with the human and what they're. That's like, well, whatever. Then
Or
why are
if-
you here now?
If it's Captain Marvel, it's because she's saving other universes.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
She's like, what do you think? Yours is the only universe? Yeah.
Mhm.
Obviously,
Yeah.
that's what we
Yeah.
think.
Or galaxies, I should say.
Or
not universes.
yeah. And it's like, ugh, hate it.
Yeah, it's not satisfying. I'm sorry.
She's human.
Yeah. You would think she'd have some, some level of like home team spirit.
Right, but she's like, I got other shit to attend
Yeah,
to.
I'll see you guys later. Okay.
You guys can deal with this, right?
Good
A lot
luck.
of you gonna die, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. I
Page
got
me at
other
the very last minute you possibly
very
can.
last minute,
Yeah.
literally, the last second
Yeah.
that he could have.
Yep.
So anyway, we'll watch that and maybe do not a one rail in, but I don't even want. What I want to do is watch it and then just comment on, like, I don't know, did it deserve the hatred that it got?
Sure. Yeah. I'd be down to do that. I mean, I do plan on watching it at some point. But that being said, I don't think it had much to do with Multiverse of Madness.
No. I don't think it has anything to do with Multiverse
Yeah,
of
no,
Madness,
no.
which is why we're here to talk about
Right.
the Multiverse of Madness.
Madness.
Directed by friend of the show.
Samuel, Raymond.
Man, can you imagine? His middle name's Raymond? Or did you
No.
make that up?
That's what Raimi's short for, obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Samuel Raymond. Raimi. Raymond. Okay, so let's kind of get into this a little bit, right?
Okay, yeah.
Sam Raimi gets brought back into the fold now that we have established that not only can we bring back characters from other universes, we can bring directors and
Back,
actors
yeah,
from other
that's right.
universes, bring them back into these movies. Long rumored, and then when it finally got confirmed, it was like, oh shit, Sam Raimi's doing it. And then the rumors were like, yeah, it's going to be basically a horror movie.
Well, and those rumors were started back when Scott Derrickson, who directed the first one, was originally attached to it.
Right.
And they said, again, this is all kind of speculation, and I'm not sure if Scott Derrickson has come out to say any of this. And he's still friendly, with the movie. He's actually, I think, a producer on it. I saw his name in the credits. So he was at least consulted. But they say his main beef and why he left and why there were creative differences was because he wanted to do a straight-up horror movie.
Yeah.
And apparently the MCU is like, no, like, we got to still be inclusive for all the kids and, people who buy toys and lunch boxes and, that whole thing. And so they split. But that being said, the movie we got...
It's a straight up horror movie.
So it's a lot of horror elements in it at very least. But anyway, continue your story of the Multiverse of Madness.
So Raimi gets involved, and then pandemic pushes everything back.
Right.
Because all of these movies were supposed to come out way sooner.
Right. This was supposed to come out before Spider-Man.
Yeah. Which would have been fun for it to come out first, and then they make that Spider-Man reference, and then Spider-Man comes out, and you're like, oh, that's what they were talking about.
Well, the thing is, it would have been I would think substantially different if that were to have happened. I'm sure they came back with reshoots and like had to fill in gaps. So
Yeah.
if this was our first like taste of the multiverse, I think it would have been a little better off, personally.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, especially if we're in a world where we still get Sam Raimi as a director, it would be cool if we have him in there and then we get his Spider-Man in the next movie. You know, like kind of a nice little payoff. Not that that didn't happen, you know, with the way things are, but I don't know. There's something poetic about that. you
Yeah.
know?
No. Yeah.
It rhymes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, pandemic happens. You get all these different, you know, rearrangements and all this stuff, and finally, after it's all said and done, we get Spider-Man. We got Love and Thunder coming out soon-ish, and we have the Multiverse of Madness. And so let's just get right into it, like I've said 3 times.
Yeah.
How do you want to go about this?
Man, that's...
Well,
Wow.
I mean, you know, I don't... You usually do...
I know. I was letting you have the driver's seat.
And
It seemed like you wanted it
Well,
for a while.
no. No. I don't want it.
Okay.
You can go ahead and take over from here.
Okay. All right. Well,
I'm getting out of the seat.
with that wonderful introduction, let's get into the movie itself, right? Okay. So, you know, essentially this, and I don't want to go plot point for plot point because that's a little boring, but essentially what happened was, you know, we start off with alternate universe Strange, and a brand new character that we've never met before. So I made a specific note to figure out how to pronounce her name correctly, the actress.
That's good of you.
Yes. So it is Xochitl Gomez, who plays America Chavez.
That's not that hard. Xochitl.
Yeah. It's just, you know, spelled in a different way than would be, you know,
Yeah.
easy for the American tongue.
But it took you, what, 2 seconds to look that up?
Yeah, so you can do it too. It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're following their characters in this epic battle. I appreciate that some of the first words spoken are in Spanish.
Yeah.
In a major motion picture. So they're fighting, and there's this giant demon thing that's coming after them that looks like a Demon Souls character.
Yeah.
It's really brutal. He's, you know, getting beaten up, and they're all trying to get to this book, and so eventually Strange gets kind of eaten up, chewed up, and spit out, and but before that he tries to kill America. And you can't do that.
You can't be doing that.
You can't kill America. First of all,
you never can kill America. Goddamn.
Anyway, so she ends up opening up a portal because that's what happens when she gets scared. Apparently, gets pushed out of there, and then eventually ends up meeting with the original Doctor Strange.
And that's where the real adventure starts.
Yes, and that's where the adventure begins. So we obviously find out that there is multiverses, and when you dream, apparently that is another multiverse that you are peeking into. So,
which is like a theory,
sure, yeah,
a real
yeah.
theory, and also one that, like, I don't know, it seems kind of plausible.
I guess, yeah.
Sometimes,
sure.
I think when you dream, you're walking across the your own timeline, whether it's in the past or it's in the future. Things that are gonna happen have already happened, and you're literally just living out the thing. So when you dream, you walk across that timeline.
This is your personal theory?
This is my own personal theory. Yeah, this is how I explain deja vu. When scientists say, "Oh, deja vu is just your brain, like you just are misremembering a thing, and you're attributing those things," and I'm like, no. I saw the future in my dream, and
Mhm.
then it was confirmed by deja vu.
What about dreams that never happen or could never happen?
What do you
like
mean?
you flying or, you know,
Maybe that explains the
the
yeah. That's
Okay.
you're now dreaming about a universe in which you can fly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take it. So that is the theory posited by America, and so they end up fighting this other creature that's apparently trying to kidnap America because some demon wants her powers. That's all we know at this point.
Yeah.
They bury the dead Strange from the alternate universe, which acts as proof that she actually is from an alternate universe and not just some crazy person.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. From there,
It kind of feels like you're going plot for you're doing the
I know. Okay. I'll speed it up for you guys. We meet up with Wanda. She seems like she's in an okay place. She's actually not. She's still grieving, obviously. And it seems like out of the blue, at least to me, she's gone off the deep end again. Like, it has become even worse. She's now reading from this sacred book of evil. Very
Sacred Book of Evil.
very Raimi-esque,
Uh-huh.
right? But it's corrupted her. It's what the book does. It is essentially a book of evil. So she's reading from it, trying to figure out a way to, get her kids back. Which, if you saw WandaVision, were conjured up, from her witchcraft and imagination, essentially. But we find out that those kids actually do exist in other universes. So
Yeah.
her whole drive of this movie is to try to get into one of the universes that those kids exist and basically become their mother.
Right.
So that's her driving force. She doesn't care what it takes to get that. And in order to get that, she realizes she has to find and take the power from America. Doing that, though, kills America. So there's this obvious moral issue that Doctor Strange finds with that and says, no, you can't do that. Essentially, the rest of the movie is sort of a chase to get America and, on the other hand, to protect her. And they go across different universes. We end up meeting up in this alternate universe with the Illuminati, which is this protective group who protect all the sacred things, essentially, and the universe
Uh-huh.
in general. And in that universe, their Doctor Strange is dead. We find out that he ended up fucking up, and they had to kill him, right?
Uh-huh.
The Illuminati had to kill him. But they put him up as this hero because that's what the world needs, yada, yada, the whole shtick. Anyway, Wanda, now fully the Scarlet Witch, comes in, takes them all out very brutally. Continues to try... Oh, I forgot the entire plot point of... what's her name? The night nurse.
Christine.
Christine.
Yeah.
Christine. Obviously, Doctor Strange still has to think for Christine, but she's moved on in his universe. And it seems like she's moved on in every other universe, too.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a lingering thing of, regret that he has because he still loves her and yada, yada, yada. Christine in this universe is working with the Illuminati. She's this, scientist who studies the multiverse and ends up helping them to escape. They go to this other multiverse to escape Wanda again. In that one, there's an evil Doctor Strange. They fight the evil Doctor Strange. So, current, real Strange, our Strange, gets the power from the evil book to dreamwalk, which allows him to take over the corpse of his dead body in our universe from the other universe. He takes over the zombie body, ends up taking the demons who are trying to punish him for doing that because that's illegal in the multiverse, apparently.
Why are you doing this?
He fights Wanda, beats Wanda with the help of America, who finally harnesses her power because Zombie Strange ends up giving her a pep talk, essentially. So, Wanda finally snaps out of it because she gets put face to face because of America, who punches a hole in the universe to send her to a universe where she has kids. Her kids are scared of her because she's this evil witch. She snaps to after that, realizes she's been evil this entire time, was doing the wrong thing, and then ends up destroying herself and the book in every universe. So, well, the book in every universe, not herself in every universe. So the evil books is gone forever. America is now studying with the monastery people. Doctor Strange ends up leaving. He's back in New York, and then twist, he now has a third eye. The end.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's about everything, right?
I think you pretty much covered it.
Okay.
Literally, the whole thing. Who was that for?
No. For me. That was for me.
I think that was for you.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. It's good. It felt good. Felt
Yeah?
good to get there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I always say I don't want to cover the entire movie, but I inevitably want to.
Yeah.
Deep down, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
All right.
Hope you like that. I did.
All right. Well, highlights, lowlights when I get into.
Yes. Okay. So, that's really my first question to you. What? Because everyone's sick of my voice by this point. What do you think?
Yeah, how sick of my voice they must be.
That's a good point. Of the Multiverse of Madness, did it exceed expectation? Did it meet, or was it below?
Well, that's I didn't really. I thought it met expectations because I had high expectations for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was like you said when we got out of the movie, how underrated the first one is.
Mm-hmm.
After having gone back and rewatched the first one, I did have high expectations, especially with Sam Raimi being involved.
Sure.
And then after watching Spider-Man and seeing how, the multiverse is coming to, and also Loki, and I guess to a lesser extent WandaVision, but that's not really the multiverse. I mean, now it is. Kind of feels retconned, honestly. Little retconned.
WandaVision?
WandaVision being a multiversal, or WandaVision being part of the multiverse thing, feels a little retconned. Where it's like, it was this thing that she made up in her head,
right,
which was fine. It worked, and actually was really good because it was like how powerful she was to not only like enslave this entire town, but to create these lives.
Yeah, to conjure people.
Yeah, like that was impressive.
Right.
And then fast forward to Multiverse of Madness. I guess I should reserve this for a low light. But to come back and be like, oh, no. They're real.
Yeah.
They're just in another universe. And you're like, that kind of feels like...
Yeah, I think they gave themselves enough leeway to make that work. Because at the very end of the series, you see her studying the book and hearing their voices. So it's like, okay, well, that's her, like, kind of peeking into the multiverse and hearing.
Yeah, but we don't know that.
Sure. I'm saying they gave themselves an out, though.
Oh,
like,
okay.
that's a clear.
Yeah, they could go back and be like,
yeah, that's a
we were alluding to it the whole time.
They gave themselves a barn-sized hole to insert that plausibility into.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yes. I will agree. I think it met my expectations, and it's only because I also had very high expectations.
Yeah.
And, the early reviews that I had heard were all about how divisive this movie is going to be.
Yeah. Which
I still agree with. I think it is going to be very divisive for people, especially people who aren't familiar with Sam Raimi. As two big Raimi heads here, we were pretty much our pumps were primed for this one. So
yeah,
take our opinion with a grain of salt if you haven't seen Evil Dead 2 and the Spider-Man movies and things like that. Then you're
Drag Me to Hell.
Oh, Drag Me to Hell, of course. Your results may vary, but that being said, it was right up my alley. I love the horror elements. I love the goofiness of it. I love the just the kind of directorial vision for it all.
Yeah.
The Dutch pans and the transitions and all the stuff that seems very out of place in an MCU movie. I feel like it's still kind of out of place in an MCU movie, but
yeah,
it's why I liked it, because
Yeah.
it was different than, a lot of the MCU movies in general. It's one of the few that you feel the director in.
Yeah.
This, and off the top of my head, like Ragnarok.
Yeah.
I feel the vision of the person, the writer and the director behind it in those two movies in particular.
Yeah.
Other than that, and not to take anything away from anyone else. Scott Derrickson too, very horror minded director before Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And he brought a lot of that to Doctor Strange, and that's why it works so well too, and because it's so mystical and dark and weird. I think this is a really rich universe that lends itself to a director with a vision. So they were very smart, I feel, and savvy to bring on Sam Raimi for this one.
Yeah.
I think it paid out. I really think it did. It's obviously crushing in the box office. So
Yeah.
they're making their money, but at the same time, I think it was a gamble in a way.
Yeah.
Especially with how violent this thing is and how incredibly dark it is. And, I honestly came into it with all of that backlash kind of being like, come on.
Yeah.
It can't be that violent. People are too squeamish nowadays. Like, I get you're going into an MCU movie and, not expecting to see gore or, brutality, but that's kind of Raimi's bag, baby.
Yeah.
And then I saw it and I was like, oh,
No, it is violent.
I kind of get it.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying there. That was shocking.
Yeah.
In a very good way. I thought it was great. I
Yeah.
enjoyed that.
I don't think it. People are like, how could it have gotten how did it get a or how did it get a PG-13 rating? It should be rated R. Well, number one, who gives a shit? Why are you even fucking concerned?
What are you, a
yourself?
narc?
Yeah, exactly. Why don't you shut up? Why don't you fucking be cool, dude? Fucking be cool.
Shh.
What's wrong with you?
13-year-olds are trying to watch this movie.
Yeah,
Okay.
just fucking leave it alone, man. Get the fuck out of here. And then second of all, it was awesome. So
Yeah.
just shut up.
Two basic criticisms there. It's awesome and shut up.
Shut up. I saw IGN gave it a 7. I was like, oh no, it's like it's too Raimi and it's like not good.
Mm-hmm.
7's like it's like an okay score.
Sure.
But it's like, he leaned too much into it. But then I watched it and I was like, yeah, he did. But but in the best ways.
Yeah. I will say there were moments because our theater was pretty much full. I could tell the audience didn't really know what to do with some of it.
Yeah.
There's kind of like are we supposed to laugh now? Or
Yeah.
There's kind of a weird chittering
Yeah.
in the crowd.
Well, it's because they've been conditioned.
Yeah.
And their condition has been conditioned.
Sure.
They don't MCU fans don't know what to make of anything outside of the MCU.
Yeah. Or the strict parameters that have been made of which how far you can go one way or the other.
Yeah. I think that the problems that the MCU is bringing to the film industry are overstated. But I do think that people's criticisms are justified.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Sure. Well, you just saw on Twitter the screen cap of all literally every 15 minutes for the entire day in one movie theater. All Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
Everything essentially. I'm sure there's a few screenings here and there of something else, but maybe everything everywhere all at once, which I feel the need to
Nice, dude.
push people to take time out of their day I'd say even before Multiverse of Madness, take a second, get yourself in a multiversal mood by seeing everything everywhere all at once while you still can.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. But yeah, it has literally just, been a glutton to the schedule of movie theaters. There was our theater, it was literally a showing every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
Marvel's going to make that money.
Yeah.
By God. If they got to rip every other movie out of the theater.
Well, did you see that clip, the old clip of Tarantino complaining about it?
No.
I forget what Disney movie was coming out around Christmas time.
Yeah.
But it was when he was coming out with what's the Western?
Django or
no, the newer one with everyone. Hateful Eight, yeah. Hateful Eight was coming out. I think it was at the Cinerama Dome or something, like a historic theater, essentially, a movie theater. But one that was important to him. He's like, I want it to run Christmas weekend. It's important to me. Like, this is when the film's debuting. I want it out.
Yeah.
And he had signed a deal with the theater to make sure that happened, and they agreed. And then Disney came in and essentially said, you're not going to honor that deal. And the reason you're not going to is because we're going to put this movie out. And, it was Star Wars. It was Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they're like, if you don't do this, we are going to never allow a Star Wars movie to come out in any of your chain of theaters.
Do we know if that's a fact? That they strong-armed that deal like
that's
that?
What Tarantino said. So take that for what it's worth.
I mean, I'm not gonna defend the suits at Disney.
Sure.
That just seems like a pretty egregious move.
Yeah.
Which again, I wouldn't put it past them, but I would like, just some confirmation on that one. I mean, Tarantino is known to stretch.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, he's a storyteller. Don't forget that. But
so, like, you let him tell it, and he's like, yeah, they came in there armed to the teeth, hung a guy over a fucking banister.
Started shooting.
Emptied his pockets. Fucking, Suge Knight and Vanilla Ice him.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that is the story. And so
yeah, I remember him. I remember that. I remember that at the time that he was complaining about that. I remember that. And then it got quickly forgotten.
Sure.
Also, because like Hateful Eight is like, what are you talking about? The guy talks about raping another guy in that movie. Like what? Yeah, a family wants to go see Star Wars, dude. Yeah. What are you talking about?
That's like the climax of the movie.
Yeah. Like, what?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. It's what he wanted. It's what he wanted.
All right.
So, well, I say that because, even if that
his
story's not
have
true,
kind of come to fruition.
Yeah, even if that story's not true, it's kind of happened.
Yeah.
People are now pointing to everything everywhere all at once. I'm not using it this time funny, but
still.
Yeah, but it still counts.
Still counts.
People are pointing to that being pushed out of theaters now. People are pointing to the Northman being taken out and going to VOD, I think, actually maybe this weekend or next.
Really?
Yeah. So people are like, that sucks. Like, these movies deserve to stay in theaters. And, the other side of the argument is like, people just want to watch movies at home, man. Like,
yeah,
that's really what it is.
A lot of those movies are, like, The Northman definitely is a movie that, like, I saw it. It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But, I could see it in the comfort of my home and be fine. It wasn't a movie that was, like, so visually arresting that I needed to see it in, like, IMAX.
Yeah.
But then again, maybe I'm selling it short. The cinematography was amazing.
Oh yeah, I mean all the previews look like beautiful.
So it does look amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm torn on that because all of these movies, like, I don't know.
I mean, any movie's better in a theater, obviously.
Yes, yes.
I don't think there's any arguing that. You can argue like, okay, well, you're more comfortable at home. Sure, you pay less money when you're home. Sure. It's less hassle, sure. But, if I had between my TV and a gigantic movie theater screen, IMAX movie theater screen, I'm picking the theater.
Yeah.
It's just all that other stuff that kind of makes you go, not worth it.
Yeah. But sometimes, I mean, like our theater, for instance, was filled with people who like wanted to watch the movie. It wasn't, because a lot of times you'll see a movie and it's just like, why are you even here?
Right.
You're not paying attention. You're talking. You're distracted. You're being distracting. Like, just go home. Why are you here?
Yeah.
We want to watch a movie.
Yeah.
That didn't happen in this.
No, fortunately. Yeah. So,
everybody was there and they were engaged.
Yes. And I think that's, even if you walk out of the movie saying it wasn't for me, I think it's unquestionably an engaging movie. Mm-hmm. It runs at a pretty fast clip.
It's brisk.
There's always something happening. There's lots of suspense, a handful of good jump scares.
Yeah.
Great visuals. I think Danny Elfman did a great job with the music. And I think you at least have to give it that, if anything. But okay, that being said, I think this is a perfect segue to get into a few of our little negativos on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, for me, I'll start off.
Sure.
For me, I think that
that's what I'm trying to remember mine.
I think the biggest one for me is that it just kind of felt like the title didn't really pay the movie off very much with the Multiverse of Madness. It's like, we got obviously some multiverse travel, but I was expecting more. I was expecting more like worlds, and it to be more of like a journey across different worlds in a way. You know? And frankly, this has more to do with my expectation and a lot of the rumors going around, running up for years now. But I was expecting a bit more as far as, introducing characters. I was hoping for X-Men. I was hoping for, a full-on Fantastic Four. And, what we got was cool. But, for them to immediately all get slaughtered was also like, oh, okay. Yeah. Which was fun. Like, I like that. I do like that choice. But at the same time, my expectation was, like, way bigger than what we got.
Yeah.
So that may be on me. But I think just what the movie sets itself up for is way bigger than what we got. But that's not necessarily a bad thing once you accept what the movie is.
Yeah.
But I will say, I do think that they, even if not intentionally, they took kind of, I told you about this too right after we saw it, but they took a lot actually from the Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse plot, and how that kind of dealt with Kingpin. And, we have another character whose driving force is getting back his family, or her family in this case. And it really is, it's
like this same exact
it's overcome by exposing them to the family that they want so dearly and showing them for the monsters they actually are, and having them being refused by that family, and that being the sort of catalyst for change or for defeat. So I think Spider-Man did it better, honestly. But that being said, those are just a few minor quibbles I have. Other than that, I really can't complain too much.
I think our complaints are pretty minor things, considering how much we like the movie. Well, before I get into mine, I'm just really starting to think about the fact that they brought in Professor X from the animated series. Do you realize that? Like, when he's introduced, there's the sting of and like, it's not like 2001 Professor X.
No.
It's like 1997 Professor X.
The cartoon
It's
one.
A cartoon come to life.
He's got the yellow floating
He has
thing.
and imagine that. Imagine being a visual effects artist and they're like, "Okay, remember X-Men from the 90s?" And you're like, "Yeah, totally. I fucking love that show." All right. We need you to build that thing that Professor X floats around
the
in.
little hovercraft.
We
he's
need
got.
to see it. Like, we need it actually made. I mean, that's a fucking wet dream. You're just like,
yeah.
are you serious? I get to build that?
I already have it out back.
Been built that,
Yeah.
dude. So I'm just really kind of like taking that in, the fact that they even pulled that off.
yeah. Yeah.
And it's not like goofy, but it like works.
Yeah.
Is pretty impressive. My like one thing that I'm still trying to like wrap my head around is like, what are we doing with Wanda? You know, like what's her whole deal? What's the deal? What's the deal with Wanda? Like, I don't know. I just feel like if this is the end for her,
Which it seems to be.
it just feels like maybe they wasted her. She's one of the most powerful heroes. Well, she hasn't really been a hero in a long time. One of the most powerful beings in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And she's reduced to this like irrational, crazy woman that I just feel is doing her an injustice, especially considering the fact that and you pointed this out, so I'm not stealing this, I'm just mentioning it, that what we saw in WandaVision was a resolution of her character, or at least what we thought was. It was obviously a misdirection, but that's not made obvious in the show. In the TV series, you're led to believe that we got our resolution, that she went nuts because of what happened to Vision, and understandably so. You're like, throughout the series, you're like, her actions are kind of justified.
Sure,
like everything
yeah.
she's
You get
doing
it.
is
You
she's
understand.
a monster. It's fucked up. You can't do that to people. But
Right.
at the same time, you're like, I mean, you know, she lost the man of her life.
It's how she's dealing with her trauma. Like,
right.
you know, you get it.
And that's part of like this show is like, how do you deal with grief and how do you deal with trauma and how those things manifest themselves. And the show is literally about manifestation.
Yeah.
And so all of that stuff, you know, is I love that. I love that about the show. And then at the end, I love that we got a resolution. And then you come back to the movie and it's like, just kidding. She's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And she's always been nuts.
Well, well, it's more of like, no, she's actually irreparably broken. Like,
Right.
She's too far gone.
Yeah.
And you know, actually, now that you bring it up, like we were saying, I think even for this, in hindsight, they do give themselves a little leeway to make it make sense.
Yeah.
The way we interpreted the ending of WandaVision was, okay, she's, you know, reading through the book and trying to find her kids or a way to get her kids back.
Yeah.
But it seemed in a far less nefarious way than it turned out. You know? That was my read on it, at least. I saw that and was like, okay, well, we're going to go on some, like, adventure to see how to resurrect these children or something, you know?
I didn't read that. My read of it was that she had accepted that those things weren't real. And what she was doing in that cabin was now honing her abilities, because everything before that was that Wanda was a loose cannon and somebody who could, with the power that she has, destroy half the universe if she didn't control it.
Well, and that's been a through line since what? Civil War?
Since she got the powers, basically. But
Yeah.
since Civil War was the we're dealing with this.
Yeah.
And what I got from it was, now that we've established that she has the ability to take over an entire town and mind control people, and when she becomes the Scarlet Witch and she has that battle and she learns the runes and all that stuff, my takeaway was she's honing those abilities.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna come back to her, and you know, she's gonna be this like master of her abilities.
Sure. Yeah.
And she'll be like one of the main characters fighting whatever big bad.
Yeah.
So that's what I took from it.
Yeah. Well, once
When you hear the kids, that to me was like her just like reminiscing and like you can tell she's not over it and she's keeping those things in her life. But I didn't take from it that she was searching for a way to bring that back. I felt, like I said, that we got a resolution and that we're moving past that.
Right.
You know. So,
okay. Yeah, that's a fair read. Yeah, again, I assume that we would find out what her plans are to find her kids. And it wouldn't be this incredibly dark thing that turns her into a literal monster.
Yeah, so I mean, either way you read it, it still feels like the best that they could come up with was that she is insane and also one of the most powerful beings in the universe. And so it's like, how do you stop a crazy woman who's also crazy powerful? You know, it just didn't feel nuanced.
Yeah.
It was just like, she's crazy, right?
And, you know,
she wants her kids back, like any crazy woman.
I can see execs, or even Sam Raimi himself maybe, saying, okay, well, we've been through that, though. There's an entire TV show to go through her nuance of character. Let's move on and introduce her as, oh, yeah, she's fine on the surface, but the second you look a little bit deeper, she's actually, like, you know, this incredible monster whose sole focus in life is now to get back to her kids. Which, understandable. Again, we get it, I think, overall, why she feels the way she does.
I think that's cheating, though. You don't get to say the TV show did the heavy lifting, so we're just going to pick it up from there and do something else with it.
Yeah, I mean, what we're given is something, you know, her waking up from that dream. It's something, you know, it helps, but I don't think it was ultimately enough to humanize her and to, like, flesh her out a bit more than just being this relentless killing machine, which, you know, I don't want to say is a bad thing about that character, her being this relentless killing machine.
It was awesome.
It's incredible.
It was awesome.
It's so good. She becomes the Terminator, you know, like she's scary. She's frightening.
She's actually scary because you're like, you watch it and the way that they present her, it's like, no, she could kill all of them.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange doesn't stand a chance.
No.
I don't think I'm not sure any Avenger would really stand a chance. Like if she catches up with them, like it's fucking over. She will get what she wants out of this. It is legitimately scary.
Yeah.
So I mean, my nitpicks are nitpicks because I'm like, I would have liked for them to earn that a little bit more.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't think it takes away from the movie that much.
Yeah, and it does, now that you again bring that up, it does kind of suck that we won't get to see like the Scarlet Witch's power used for good.
Yeah.
With how much promise that has, you know, like she finally became the Scarlet Witch at the end of the series, right?
Yeah.
And then now for that just to be like, okay, well, she used that for ultimate evil, and that's it. Now, you know, that's a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah, that sucks.
But
that sucks. And then what happens with Silver Vision? He comes back and he's got all the memories of Vision, and he's like, "Where's Wanda?" And like, oh yeah, that bitch went crazy.
She's gone.
She found the kids that she conjured up in another universe, and they're actually real. Can you believe that? And he's like, "No, I can't. That's insane."
Cool.
Who would come up with that?
See you later.
People who just want to bring those kids back in this TV show.
Then he goes crazy.
And then he's an unstoppable killing machine. And then that's Doctor Strange Part 3.
And we do it all over again. Yeah. I wouldn't even consider this a negative to the movie itself, but a negative to the MCU in general in the state that it's in right now. But the place in which we're left with the opportunity that we have now with the multiverse open to resurrect dead characters, I think, is a major potential negative moving forward.
Yeah.
So
could be. They don't do it right.
We're talking about how much it sucks that Wanda's dead now, but if they decide, oh, alternate universe Wanda is back and she's, you know, okay.
We're just going to take her from that.
She doesn't have trauma.
Yeah.
She's fine.
She's had a good life.
Like, that would be a bummer. I mean, same thing with any of the characters who are dead and stayed dead, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't want to see that happen, at least not for a very long time, and then be very, very careful about how they do that.
That would be the beginning of the end for the MCU.
Yeah.
If they're just going to go, let's just go nuts and bring everybody back.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
I hope that, Kevin Feige understands it. Like, the finality of some of this is what makes it good.
Sure. He was a smart guy, you know.
Yeah.
I still have faith,
Yeah,
but
he's a smart guy. He'll
you
figure
know,
it out.
at the end of the day, if it's gonna make money, they're gonna do it.
Money.
So-
Yeah.
We'll see though. But I mean, ultimately, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, big recommend,
Big recommend.
especially if you're a Raimi head.
Not trash, if you will.
Well, do we give these ratings too? Don't we?
Do we?
Out of 6?
I don't know. We haven't done a reel in a while. Yeah, I think we do. We do.
Yeah. What's it gonna be, brother?
What's it gonna be, brother? As it stands on its own, I give it a 5.5.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I walked out of that theater juiced to the gills
Yeah.
on it. I thought it was amazing. Maybe I'm being hyperbolic right now, and I'll watch it again and like come back down to earth.
Yeah, there's some recency bias going on. We saw it just the other day.
Yeah, but as it stands, I loved it. I mean, going back to what the point you made earlier in the show, like seeing Raimi's vision within the MCU is so arresting, and like it pulls away from the MCU. Has this for the most part, they like kind of paint by numbers, and you just insert, you know, favorite character here, plot point here, and like maybe they'll do something interesting or weird on this thing and that or whatever. But at the end of the day, they follow the same kind of trajectory. And, you know, honestly, Doctor Strange does too. It does follow what you can tell that they're, you know, Feige's like, look, right here in this hour and a half, go nuts. Do whatever you want. The beginning, though, you got to establish this.
Right here and right here. That's ours.
Yeah. But that
Play in the middle.
That chunky middle, do whatever you want. Yeah. And it seems like Sam Raimi took that to heart. He established, he got everything going, and then in the end, we got us to a place where like, okay, now we're looking forward to what's next. Yeah. But in that middle section, boy, oh boy, that was, I mean, it was a fucking thrill ride. Yeah. I loved it. Yeah. The only reason I don't give it a 6 is because there's those little nitpicky things that like stop it from being like the perfect movie.
Right.
But I'm giving it a 5.5.
Very nice. I mean, I echo a lot of your sentiments. I think that, again, it was such a Sam Raimi movie. I mean, the meme I showed you about the Trojan horse being Evil Dead 4. Yeah. And, the horse on the outside being Doctor Strange. I mean, I think that's just perfect. Like, it is such a refreshing entry into the MCU because of how much you feel the director. Yeah, I mean, I think the nitpicks for me don't bring my score down too much. I'm gonna give it a 5, just to anticipate that watching it a second time, I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm a little less surprised now. Yeah. But I don't see it being any less entertaining. Yeah. And I'm so glad it exists. You know, like I want more of this from the MCU. I want more, you know, clear visions and like real identifiable stamps of style and substance in these MCU movies. I think that will only do well for them to continue to do, instead of having just like, you know, somebody step in and say, here's what you're going to do. Yeah. And this is what you do. Go ahead.
Well, that's the point. That's the reason you bring in a Sam Raimi or an Edgar Wright or, you know, I would say that the Russo brothers are probably the worst culprits of this. They seem to be, I think the Russo brothers established what executives at Marvel wanted. Sure. And they were like, oh, yeah, do that. Just keep doing that. And we'll just make 30 of those. And then the Russo brothers were like, all right.
Well, I mean, technically that was probably started at the very beginning with Iron Man, right?
No, I don't think so. I think Iron Man was, I mean, I guess sort of, but like
it was
Iron
the template,
Man,
really.
But Iron Man had actual stakes. Iron Man had like emotional highs. There was like
Comedy.
real, yeah. And I mean, yes, the template gets established almost immediately, but I think that I don't think you would get Iron Man now. They wouldn't make an Iron Man. It wouldn't be that small. You'd have like 5 or 6 different characters. It would be this big international thing. You know, it would be like Iron Man 3. You would get Iron Man 3. Sure. That's the movie that you would get if they tried to establish Iron Man now. Is like this big, like, all these characters have to be in it, and all these things have to be going on.
And it now at this point has to be connected to a larger universe,
right?
And et cetera, et cetera.
It couldn't just be by itself,
right?
And Favreau like has a style, and you see it in that. And I think the Russo brothers have a style too, but I think that they,
adapt.
Yes. Yeah. Very much so.
Yeah, I agree.
And then when you get like a direct, like even though Edgar Wright wasn't involved fully with Ant-Man, for instance, you can tell that he established a thing, and then I don't know who they got to replace him. I forgot, but whoever they did was just doing a copy paste of Edgar Wright. You can tell.
Yeah.
And it's to the film's detriment. You can tell that it's kind of like, they're doing an Edgar Wright impression, but still, it's an Edgar Wright movie.
Sure. You can still feel his presence in it.
Yeah. So, I want more of that.
Yeah.
I want more.
Agreed.
Don't bring in directors with these established, unique styles and then just tell them to make an MCU movie. Let them do their thing.
Yeah.
And I hope that this is the beginning of that. I hope that this is like, we're gonna get like weirder directors, and we're gonna get like or bigger name directors. Like, what if like the Coen brothers came in and like did like some weird, newer directors. They let a lot of newer directors do cool shit with. Wasn't Bryce Dallas Howard doing a lot of MCU stuff? Didn't she direct?
She was. Definitely directing a lot of TV.
Yeah, right. She did like. Didn't she? Was she doing not Loki, or maybe it was WandaVision?
Oh, it's Boba Fett.
Oh, yeah. Okay, right. Yeah. Okay, never mind. But she's great.
Yeah,
she's a good director.
Yeah. I want a David Lynch. Doctor Strange 3.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Yeah, man.
That's what I want. Give it to me.
Yeah, I mean, you've got millions of characters, and it's obvious that they're trying to introduce as many as possible, and so, fuck it. You want to get weird? Let's get weird.
Let's get strange. And it's, according to Deadline, making $500 million worldwide, so, we're going to get some more Doctor Strange.
500 million. It's been out for, like, less than a week.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Good for Sam Raimi, too.
I know. It's great to see him. It's a real come back home moment.
Yeah.
From a guy who really was part of the established or the Marvel beginnings in the any cinematic universe.
Dude,
of Marvel.
it's not crazy to say that like he's pretty instrumental in getting people used to the idea of a big budget comic book movie that deals with the things that he dealt with in those Spider-Man movies. And he was pretty fucking instrumental in getting us where we are.
Big budget, blockbuster, superhero movie.
Yeah, just not like a niche movie. Like DC movies had come out, but they were like standalone movies, and they were established characters from like the 40s, 30s. And those movies worked. But like Marvel was darker and weirder, and like you had to, and even though like the X-Men movies, and they were okay, but they still tried to ground them as much as they could. I mean, there was fantastical things, especially in the second and third one. And that first one, though, I mean, that's like a small thing, like a small movie where they tried to like make it as real as possible.
Yeah.
Whereas
they couldn't use the suits. They had to get like new sleek like dark blue suits and
They're
gray
like
suits.
basically jumpsuits, like leather jumpsuits. They just didn't. Yeah.
No faith. You need the faith.
Whereas Raimi was allowed to do, he, like seeing Spider-Man for the first time on screen like that,
Yeah.
looking the way that moving the way that he did, Tobey Maguire in the suit, actually being in the suit, and the suit looking fucking cool as shit. Like he's actually wearing a skin-tight Spider-Man suit, and you're like, that's a real superhero right there. That's a real thing.
And Sam Raimi embraces the weird, unlike many other directors.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he's a old school comic book guy, so he loves comic books.
Yeah.
Especially the old, cheesy, weird ones.
Yeah.
So I think you can feel the love in his work. So I'd love to see more. Even just going back to horror, whatever you want to do, Sam, just go ahead. You got my back.
To steal from the rewatchables, this may be a new Apex Mountain for him. Because obviously Spider-Man 2 was his Apex Mountain.
Yeah.
Because after that, he could have done whatever he wanted.
Well, and his star faded very quickly with Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, but they allowed him to do that, and he could have done. And that movie still is like super successful. That's the other thing that people don't remember about Spider-Man 3. Mm-hmm. Yes, it sucks.
Yeah,
but it was incredibly successful.
It could not be after the first two.
Yeah, Yeah, well, you bring in Venom, and it's the third movie in the installment, and
right? Like. Just failed in every other way.
Yeah. So I wouldn't call that Spider-Man 2 is his Apex Mountain.
No.
But now this could be it.
We'll see.
If he does a Billy, which he's probably gonna.
We'll see. We will surely see. And see what he does after this.
Yeah.
All
right. Well, if you want more movie-focused podcasts, we do the One Reel In, and we will do more. We're just going to do more regardless of how you guys feel about it. But if you want more, we'll do a lot more.
Yeah. Well, it'll help if you guys send us messages, comments, et cetera, for movies.
Suggestions.
Yes, movies you want to see on the One Reel In podcast.
Yes. All right. Let's do this trailer trash. And then let's get out of here.
Okay.
So, one of the most anticipated movies probably in the history of cinema, honestly, is the sequel to one of the most successful movies ever made, which is the first Avatar movie. Honestly, I don't know where the rankings hold right now, because I know Spider-Man is working its way up. I thought Endgame was ahead now, but Avatar may still be, when you adjust for inflation, the most successful. Yeah. Well,
it's still showing Avatar as the highest grossing.
2.8 billion for Avatar.
Yeah.
Endgame is at 2.79, so it's like nipping at the heels, but it ain't. Then you get Titanic, then The Force Awakens, and then I don't know the rest of those. But yeah, so that helped because they put it back in theaters and they counted that towards its gross, which I don't believe in that practice. I think that's cheap.
Yeah, it's very clearly just a run to make more money, which obviously makes sense. They're going to want to make more money. But that should be another run. That should be Avatar second run, Avatar third run. That shouldn't count towards its gross, because the movie came and went after 2009. That's it. You don't get to re-release it and then count that towards its gross. That's not. I think that's bullshit. Yeah.
Because then, you put out an album and then you put out the deluxe version. Does the deluxe version album sales count towards the overall sales of the album, or do you have deluxe sales and then standard edition sales? I think that the deluxe version counts towards, and that's why they do deluxe versions in the first place.
Yeah.
I think it's bullshit. Because you put the thing out and people responded to the thing, you don't get to come back now after you've seen everybody's reaction and go, okay, we fixed all the shit you didn't like. Now here's, or even just going, oh, you like that thing? How about we do it again and add more shit to it?
Here's some more.
That's bullshit.
It's the collector's edition.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't think it should count towards its gross. But I'm not the one that makes these kinds of decisions.
You're not.
So it's at almost $3 billion, Avatar. So it would be not an exaggeration to say that the sequel to the most successful movie ever made is one of the most anticipated movies of all time. And we finally get a trailer 12 years after the first movie came out.
2009. Avatar came out.
13 years, right? Right, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 13 years. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just talk about it.
Okay.
What'd you think? Way of Water, right?
The Way of Water. Avatar 2, The Way of Water.
Way of Water.
Featuring Jake Sully. What did
makes
I
me wanna
think?
vomit.
What did I think of the Avatar 2, The Way of Water trailer?
That is what I asked you.
Not much.
I didn't think much.
I didn't think much of it. I hate to be a wet blanket here, but my interest has come and gone with the Avatar franchise, my friends.
Yeah.
I think it looks beautiful. I think the CG is, it's going to be jaw-dropping. Some of the shots look photorealistic, and I know we keep saying that every single time there's an advancement of CG, but
yeah,
truly it looks photorealistic, and I know that, from like Corridor Crew and such, animating water can be very hard.
Yeah.
And obviously, title alone, they're setting up to make a lot of really hard shots with water. So it's cool that they're, it seems like James Cameron is again trying to push the envelope and, break these barriers that we've been having as far as technology within film. So that's cool, but as far as the movie itself, that trailer didn't do much for me.
Yeah.
Other than like, wow, yeah, that looks nice. We don't really get much as far as story. I for one haven't thought of Avatar in like at least 5 years.
Yeah.
So like I don't really have this connection to the characters. I don't care. I just frankly don't care anymore. So this trailer, frankly, did not do anything to get me back into Avatar.
I'd go so far as to say that there's not very many people who are that attached to the characters.
Yeah.
Like, I saw a movie related tweet where they were like, yeah, this is one of the most successful movies of all time, but I implore you, I dare you to name any of the main characters in the movie. And Jake Sully is obviously, like, it was said a million times.
Sure. It's a meme. It's a meme at this point.
Yeah. But then, he started naming like other movies where people just don't learn names like that.
Yeah.
You remember, like, unless it's an iconic character.
Yeah. John Connor.
And no
Sarah Connor.
No iconic characters came out of this. An iconic race happened.
Sure. Yeah.
The Na'vi thing was like, that is iconic. That's for sure. It's established in pop culture. There's memes. There's once there's porn, you've made it.
Of course, yeah.
What? Don't look at me like that. That's a real thing. Once people are jerking off to something, that's when you know. See, you thought that this show wasn't going to go off the deep end, but I will steer this ship into the rocks if you let me.
That's the way of water.
But so that was established, but no like character has come out of the thing, right? Like it wasn't like, so there's nothing like Avatar itself is iconic. It is a thing. But it's a moment in time. Are you like shooting dice over there?
You can do that somewhere else.
Just take them in there with you.
God.
She starts chewing on the chalk on mic.
Choking. She's coughing in the corner.
Yeah, we're leaving
outta
this in
here.
now. You should be embarrassed.
All right.
What was my point?
Nobody cares about the characters.
Nobody
in
cares
Avatar.
about the
Yeah.
characters. They care about
The porn.
They care about the porn. Yes, it was a moment in time,
Yeah.
and that's why I think that
It was the 3D too. Like it was
Yeah.
a major
Oh,
leap
God.
forward in 3D
the
and
3D.
and caused every major blockbuster to be 3D optional.
Dude, there was
movie.
that moment where the only movie that actually used it right and it worked was Fury Road. It was fun that he tried to do it,
Yeah.
and it works because all of it is goofy,
Mm-hmm.
and even if you don't know it's 3D, that movie is still. I mean, it's incredible. It's one of the greatest movies of
masterpiece.
all time. Yeah. So that's the only thing. That's the only time, in my opinion, it worked. Even when you watch Avatar, like the 3D is part of the visual spectacle of the thing.
Yeah.
But it's not like 3D stupid. So I mean, it's never been. It's never. I've never seen a movie where I was like, I'm glad that was in 3D.
They're still doing it.
They're-
Multiverse of Madness has a 3D version.
Oh, you can tell. You can
Yeah.
tell. There's some moments where it's like, was that supposed to? I'm glad that you said that because as I was watching, I didn't know that until you just said that.
Mm-hmm.
But as I was watching it, I was like, is this supposed to be in 3D? Because there were some moments that they do the whole, whoa, whoa, and you're like, why did they reach out to me?
Yeah.
So okay, I'm glad you said that. That confirms what I thought.
Yep.
And so the moment, like you said, has passed.
Mm-hmm.
We're past that movie.
Yeah.
For the movie to come out, for this new one to come out a decade and a half later, James Cameron must really, really believe in this vision.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only this one though. Like there is a train a moving on this franchise.
Yeah.
So part 3 already has like a release date, and I think they're already started shooting for part 4 or something. You know, like it's continuing. There's a clear vision, and you know, unless this thing crashes and burns and nobody sees it, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know.
I think it's going to be interesting to see if it can reach the heights of the first one, because every time that you think, all right, we have streaming services, we have illegal downloads, we have all of this stuff, why would a movie ever reach $1 billion again? And then, you know, these movies go ahead and do it.
Well,
so
yeah, I mean, this headline from Quartz says Avatar 2 will need to break sequel records to justify its budget. So, like, they're already anticipating that, given the popularity of the first one, this is a shoo-in success,
I think so.
which it very well may be. Yeah, another headline for you. A Hollywood Reporter says Avatar: The Way of Water teaser.
Come on, you can do this. I believe in you.
Avatar: The Way of Water teaser trailer nabs huge 148.6 million views on first day. So there's obviously some interest here, or at least curiosity.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that reflects necessarily people who are like excited for the movie.
No.
It's people who are curious because after over a decade of waiting, or not even waiting, just hearing this thing consistently being talked about and this grand vision, finally there's some proof that it's happening other than on-set photos and, you know, behind-the-scenes videos of them in, like, you know...
the mocap
mocap
stuff.
suits in a giant pool, you know?
I don't know anyone who would even say Avatar is their favorite movie, or even in their top 5.
No. Again, it was like an amusement park attraction.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. It was a thing. It was a thing that you did. It was one of those movies. It was a moment. You went to the theater to see the thing that everyone's talking about.
Right.
I still, for the life of me, cannot wrap my head around why Avatar is as successful as it is. Still, to this day, I I do not believe it's that good of a movie. I know that we've talked about the fact that like IMAX and 3D boosted the sales.
Yeah. And overseas.
Yeah.
You know, the visual spectacles do gangbusters overseas.
But I don't get it. I don't get it, and I never will.
Well,
it's not that good.
It's a simple story told with brand new technology. And I think that's a perfect storm for mass market appeal. You know?
Yeah.
Because even if you don't speak English, you get the story that they're trying to tell, and it doesn't really matter that much at the end of the day anyway, because you're sitting there to watch the blue aliens, fly around and stuff.
Yeah, you know how I know what you're saying is true. The movie stars Sigourney Weaver,
right?
Fucking Zoe Saldana, who I am still in love with.
Sure.
And Sam
Worthington, and Stephen Lang.
He did. I will say, Sam Worthington at that time was having a moment where people were going, "Oh, he's the next guy."
Yeah.
Because he was in the Terminator movie, then he had like Clash of Titans, and he had this, and it's like, holy shit, Sam Worthington is going to be like the fucking guy. And guess what? He fucking wasn't. He wasn't.
He's been working on this the entire time.
I guess so. They've had him locked in a fucking pool the whole time. Like, he's so pruny because he's just
swim
in that pool. James Cameron is just cracking the whip on him. He's like, I just want to do a biopic or something. Swim. So you're right. But it still, to me, does not justify this movie being the most successful of all time.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me. Because, Endgame makes sense. It has this fully established, decades-long thing.
Yeah.
And then it's the culmination of all this stuff. It has these, everybody who's in that movie is a AAA+ movie star. Endgame being the most successful movie of all time is... it's a no-brainer, of course. If you told a newborn baby that, they would be like, totally.
Yeah, right.
But Avatar, especially now, think about it now. How did it make $3 billion? How?
Well,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I think part of it, other than what I just said, is also just a lightning strike moment, it right place and right time.
Yeah.
The world was ready for some entertainment that you had to go to the movie theater to see.
Yeah.
And that was it.
I didn't even see it in theaters.
Fool.
See? That's everyone's reaction. Everyone reacted that way. I remember I told that.
This explains so much.
One of my friends, they were like, you got to see it in theaters. And I was like, nah, I don't want to. And then I didn't. And then I saw it at home. And I told them how I felt about it. And they're like, well, you didn't see it in theaters. And I was like, I should be able to watch a movie on a fucking Game Boy and appreciate don't tell me about cinematography and visual effects and everything. I get that. I get all of that.
Yeah.
But if I need to see a movie in IMAX for it to be good,
right?
Then I got news for you.
Let me break through the noise that you're making right now. Okay, let me do that for you.
Okay.
I think what they were trying to tell you is that it's maybe not a good movie. However, you should see it in a theater.
Yeah.
Because even though it's a bad movie, or at least a very highly mediocre one, it's worth the visual spectacle of going to the theater and seeing it in 3D.
Yeah.
And that's all it provides. Once you get past that, there's not much there to enjoy.
Yeah.
You see. So you missed your opportunity to get anything you could out of that movie.
Yeah. I'll tell you this, man. When that movie came out and I didn't go to see it in theaters, I was ostracized by my friend group at the time.
What are you supposed to talk about?
Yeah, they were just like, you haven't seen it in theaters? I'm like, I don't want to. There's nothing about it. Even when the movie came out and the trailers, I was like, it doesn't look that good.
Yeah.
It just looks boring.
Yeah.
They
had me with the Colonial Marines. I'll tune in for anything James Cameron does with some mech suits.
Yeah, but I'll say this. For me personally, I didn't appreciate James Cameron at the time. I liked the Alien movies. I hadn't gone back and really watched them. I didn't have the love that I have for James Cameron now. I definitely didn't have back then. Terminator.
Call him Jim.
Yeah, Jimmy Cameron.
Yeah.
Jimmy Cam.
Whoa, not Jimmy. Jim.
Sorry.
Jim
Sorry.
Cameron.
You know him better than I do.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, Terminator 2 was obviously, it was still one of my favorite movies at the time, but like that was it. Like I didn't appreciate him as a filmmaker at the time.
Yeah.
So maybe if I had more context for what he was doing and what he was trying to accomplish, and by all accounts did accomplish with this movie, maybe I would have like run to the theater to see the visual spectacle. Sure. That being said, I did see the movie, and it's not good. Like it's not Terminator. I watched Terminator like 2 weeks ago and was still like, this movie fucks.
Yeah.
Every fucking frame of this movie fucks. Alien. We talked about this. We went back and I went back and I watched all of them, and Alien 1 and 2, Alien and Aliens, fucking fuck.
Oh yeah.
They're awesome movies. They hold up. I mean, to this day.
You've got Ridley Scott, and then you have James Cameron.
Yeah.
Like,
how do you go wrong?
Early James Cameron.
But that's what I'm saying. Dude, I went and I told you I watched The Abyss.
Oh, yeah.
Even that movie is fucking awesome.
Yep.
So there's no amount of, like, visual wizardry that's going to take away from the fact that, like, to me, it's just not that good of a movie.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's competently made, but it's just not very good. It's not compelling.
No. And that brings us to the trailer, which you already established.
Trash. Trash trailer for me.
And if it wasn't made obvious by everything I just said, also trash for me.
Didn't win you
for
over.
the same reasons, though, but because that's the thing. I think it has a more of an uphill battle with me because, like, I need to want to see this. I need to. I'm not interested in this.
Right.
And so a trailer would need to be so good, or at least establish some kind of plot point that gets me hooked, for me to give a shit. Because as it stands, the visuals of it, I appreciate. I mean, like you said, you know, people who are in the know understand how hard it is to do what they're doing in this movie. And I can appreciate that. But I can also appreciate, you know, I can appreciate a man holding his breath underwater for 10 minutes. Do I want to sit there and watch it? No. Like, that's a visual spectacle, seeing a guy do that. And you understand that it takes a certain...
Is it?
I think it is.
It's a spectacle. I don't know if it's a visual spectacle.
It's just, right, okay. Yeah, no. It's
thrilling,
not like,
I guess.
Like, wow.
But, yeah.
But the point I'm trying to make is that I can appreciate what it took to get here.
Sure.
That doesn't mean that I'm interested in sitting through 3 hours of it just because you tell me, like, I need to, like, look what he did. It's like, all right, but, you know, whatever.
Yeah. You can appreciate the effort without appreciating the art.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Like, it's just got to be, I'm just not, I can already see what I can see with the kid, and what is he, like, half Navi? He's like, he's not like 11 feet tall, but he's like 6'5", 6'6", so he could, like, play ball if he wanted to. Yeah, I
don't know. I think what
I just don't care.
Well, that's what
I don't care.
That's what I was going to get to is, like, in order to get me to watch this movie, I'm going to need, like, incredible critical acclaim. Like none other. Yeah. Or at very least, them saying this is the next level of 3D. Yeah. You need to go. This is just like what happened with the first one. You need to go and see this in a theater because, again, the story's just okay, but the visuals are worth the price of admission alone. That kind of review, that kind of feedback from the movie, that will get me to see it. Yeah. Anything under that, and I'm not gonna do it. Yeah. Because I don't care. Yeah. But any hooser.
Well, kids, we'd love to hear your opinion on because I know I've talked to people who are like, you're dead wrong. It deserves to be the highest grossing movie. It's one of the best movies ever made. And then we don't talk about it ever again because nobody actually gives a shit. So if I'm wrong, tell me. I won't listen, but tell me. No, honestly, if you are a person that actually thinks that Avatar is a top 5 movie of all time, and that its gross reflects how good the movie is, I would love to hear why.
Oh, sure.
Your opinion on that. I would love to hear somebody articulate why I should give a shit. I would.
I mean, we essentially only get opposing opinions on the show, so it would fall in line.
Yeah.
And we love it. So yeah, give us a full opinion and why you feel the way you do.
Yeah. All right. I think I shitted on Avatar enough. I think that the only way to rise above that is to do what we do week in and week out, and that's big up some cool shit that's going on. So Adam, without further ado, please tell me your cheers of the week, my friend.
I'm stealing it before you can. Sam Raimi.
Ah, you motherfucker. We just got to do a dual cheers.
That's fine by me. Yeah. I was going to suggest before I got a little mean streak in me.
Yeah.
That we just share Sam. But, okay.
There's enough Sam to go around.
There's more than enough.
You had to know it was coming, guys.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, the guy started off as a very DIY filmmaker. And, one of the early guys that when I first really got into film, like, was really one of the first, like, DIY guys, low to no budget filmmakers that I really paid close attention to, him and like Robert Rodriguez, and I really grew a appreciation for his style, what he could do with so little, and really an appreciation for slapstick and horror, and those two things together.
Yeah.
That I initially didn't really get, and over time I've really grown an appreciation for.
Yeah.
And that has everything to do with Mr. Raimi.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, yeah, I mean his place in superhero movie history, really establishing what you can do with something a medium that people look down their nose at and don't really anymore, but I think he has a large part to play in getting that respect for superheroes and that entire genre, and kind of elevating it into something that can still be fun and goofy, but also have a serious heart and something to say.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, they're comic book movies. They are goofy. They're inherently goofy.
Right.
The whole thing is goofy.
Yeah.
And a lot of these filmmakers are so busy trying to establish, like, no, it needs to be taken seriously. And it's like, yeah, but you can do both.
Sure.
Raimi proves every time he does one of these movies that you can do both. It can be silly and goofy, and it can also be taken seriously. There's not a moment in Spider-Man 1 and 2 that you're taken out of the film by the silliness of it. In fact, the Spider-Man 2 especially is more of a singular Raimi vision than the first one, with the Doc Ock elements, like there's the fucking murder scene where the arms take over and kill all the doctors. Dude, still iconic.
Yeah.
There's the scene where Spidey gets his powers back, where he meets up with Mary Jane at the coffee shop, and that's a really cool. Like, all of that is like singular Raimi stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he proves that, like, you don't have to. It doesn't have to be so goddamn serious all the time.
Camp.
While at the same time, it can you can be taken seriously.
Yeah. Inject some camp. You have more fun.
Just have some fun with it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be brooding all the time.
Sure.
Fucking dark and brooding.
Be a little silly.
It's like it's like if Joel Schumacher was, all due respect to the dead, a better filmmaker.
Yes.
No, I think,
and less obsessed with bat nipples.
Yeah, I think I think Batman Forever is there are some moments where I'm like, I get what he's going for here. This is fun. This is cool. Like, I know what he's doing.
Such schlock.
Yeah. And if it didn't just go to the overboard, like, Batman and Robin is just like this, it's like a vomit of all those elements. But if he had like reined it in a little bit, I could see a silly Adam West esque Batman
Yeah.
working.
Yeah.
And Raimi does these silly, fun things in these movies, and they work. Multiverse of Madness works on
Yeah.
a multitude of levels.
Yeah.
And for large part, because Sam Raimi has a very singular vision and executes it very well. And there you go.
Agreed.
All right. Before we get out of here, we got to review these brewskis. So, Obi, please tell the people what you thought of the Pink Lemonade Sour IPA. You're going to regret that. From the Tactical Brewing Company.
I didn't regret it. It was good. A little too sour for me. A little too sour for my palate. It does definitely achieve what it's going for. It does taste like a pink lemonade, which is very tasty, very refreshing. I just wish it had a little bit more of the IPA that is underlying there. For me, that's lacking a bit. As an IPA fan myself, I feel like it could have used a little bit more bitterness, maybe, to kind of balance out that tart sourness. But that's just personal preference. That being said, I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
4.5. 4.5. 4.5.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, I'm also gonna give this. I'm gonna give it a 5.
Okay.
Not because I will drink this again, because I won't ever in my entire life ever drink this again. But that's because it's not for me.
Right.
I will say it does exactly what we said. What scores high on this show is a brewery going for something and hitting the marks of the thing that they're going for. You don't get to turn around and be like, "Oh yeah, that's what we meant." No, this is the pink lemonade. I think works. The strawberry comes through. The lemon basil works. I do agree that if it was a little less tart and just a little more hoppy, bittery, more of the hallmarks of just a regular IPA, would definitely have made it more palatable and more enjoyable. But it's a sour IPA.
Sure.
It is what it's advertised to be.
Can't fault it for that.
So I got to give it a 5.
I respect it.
So there you go.
If you like sour, check that baby out.
All right. You think we got it?
I know we got it.
Well, then let's get out of here. This has been the One Beer In podcast for myself, Marco Dupa, for Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Chuatel, Aisha4. It's fun to say. It's nice.
Thank you guys for listening. Drink delicious. Finish delicious beer and have a beautiful evening.
We love you.
Lost to be found by someone to save you.
Booted butt, booted butt.